So we have sufficient student. Next start the lecture. So today I am going to start crowding out. Okay, crowding out basically means that when government increases its expenditure, okay, so rate of interest increases. So when rate of interest increases, it's crowd out private investment. Okay, so in the classical model that we have done, okay, your full employment output is given. So when output is given at full employment, your saving is given. Okay, so your supply of fund is given. In the new classical model, we have talked about supply of non-event fund. Okay, so when your saving is given, when there is an increase in demand for non-event fund, okay, so your saving is given, supply of non-event fund. This is demand of non-event fund. Okay, so when demand for non-event fund increases, when government want to increase its expenditure, okay, what happens is that rate of interest increases. Okay, yes, supply of non-event fund or demand of non-event fund, right? Okay, so when rate of interest increases, what is rate of interest? It is a cost of capital. It is a cost to capital stock. Okay, and investment is what? Addition to capital stock. So when cost to capital stock increases, investment will decline. Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. Okay, and one of the argument that classical economics has provided, okay, and also new classical, that we no need government. Okay, because government is doing nothing, it is taking the fund. Okay, that fund is available for the private sector. Okay, so what happened is that it's brought out private investment. But in the Keynesian model that we have done, you people have seen that. Okay, output is not at full employment. Okay, so when government is taking its policy, when government expenditure is increasing, okay, output is increasing, so saving is also increasing. Okay, so when saving is increasing, when government expenditure increases, demand for non-event fund increases, saving also increases. So your rate of interest may not be changing. Okay, so when rate of interest is not changing, cost of capital stock is also not changing. Okay, so private investment will not get affected by government expenditure, by increasing government expenditure. Okay, so we are going to look at general possibility. I always talk about that there are three possibility. Okay, so we are going to do three possibility in the case of crowding out. So you will be having a case of full crowding out. I write CO, but in the examination write in full form. Then no crowding out, and third case will be partial crowding out. Okay, I will be explaining the meaning of these three. Okay, so I am going to do one example. Okay, if you remember that example, on the thing that follow, okay, will be very simple. Okay, then I will do IS equation. So when we are driving the IS equation, we have written y equal to, okay, 1 over 1 minus c plus ct a bar minus bi. Okay. We derive this equation, right? In a Coulomb economy, this is my IS equation. What is this a bar? This is autonomous component. Okay, let me open this autonomous component. Y equal, this I represented alpha. Okay, this. Okay, so y equal 1 over 1 minus c plus ct. You should remember this formula. Okay, c bar minus small c t bar plus small c r bar plus I bar plus g bar. I am not writing bi, I can write separately. I am writing only autonomous component minus bi. Okay, so we have this. Now I want to look at shift in IS curve. And if you remember in one of the lecture, okay, I talk about for the given rate of interest, if there is a change in autonomous component, okay, IS curve will shift to the right if they have positive sign, of course. Negative sign means shift to the right. Okay, so that we have discussed. Okay, so let me write or draw the graph. Okay, interest rate, output. So this is your IS curve. IS one. So what is multiplier? It is a ratio of change in income. Okay, and I am looking at government expenditure multiplier. Okay, because our purpose is to look at crowding out. And what is crowding out? crowding or refer to decline in private investment, okay, due to increase in rate of interest as a result of increase in government expenditure, okay. In other words, when government expenditure increases, okay, rate of interest increases, okay, because demand for non-event fund increases. So given the supply of non-event fund, when demand of non-event fund increases, rate of interest increases. When rate of interest increases, investment will decline. Okay. In both way you can talk about this definition and concept. Okay. So when I am talking about shift in IS curve, okay, so I need to look at how much this IS curve will shift, magnitude. Okay, like in the NM curve I talk about magnitude. So today I am going to this I have done. Okay, but next talk in more detail. Okay, magnitude. Okay, so what is multiplier? Ratio of change in income due to change in government expenditure. Okay, and this will be 1/1 minus C plus CP. Okay, so this is my multiplier. So shift in IS curve, shift of IS curve will be multiplier, this multiplier which is delta or alpha, sorry not delta, alpha time change in government expenditure. Okay, or you just write this here. So on this term will represent your shift of IS curve. So when government expenditure increases from IS1, when government expenditure increases, okay, at the given rate of interest, say I1, okay, income increases from Y1 to Y2. Okay, this difference make it proper. Okay, this 9 should be straight. Okay, so this shift in IS curve is multiplier time change in government expenditure. Okay, this shift is multiplier time change in government expenditure. Or you can write this question as change in income is how much? Multiplier times change in government expenditure. I just take this side. Okay, so this represents my shift of IS curve. Okay, so write down. So I am repeating again, for the given rate of interest, when government expenditure increases, okay, shift in IS curve will be multiplier times change in government expenditure, okay, and change in income will be Y2 minus Y1. So change in income will be Y2 minus Y1. This much. Okay, done. So I am going to use this. Okay, because I am going to increase government expenditure. Okay, and want to look at what is happening to the private investment when rate of interest increases. Okay, what is going to happen to private investment. Okay, and also I am going to talk about rate of interest also, under what condition it will increase and under what condition it will not increase. Okay, second, slope of money demand. Okay, this is important. Okay, remember this part. So money demand or liquidity preference is KY minus HI. Okay, I am plotting with respect to rate of interest money demand, right? So MD money demand, okay, is this. I am just using the Dornbusch formulation, so I writing N. Okay, liquidity preference. Okay, so don't get confused, those who have just joined today. So N means money demand. Okay. Okay. So what is the slope? Change in I over change in money demand. This will give me the slope of my money demand curve. Okay. So look at these things. Change in liquidity preference or change in money demand due to change in rate of interest is minus H. Okay. But slope is what? Y. Whatever you have in Y axis and whatever you have in X axis, take delta Y over delta X. Follow the general rule, you will get the slope. Okay. And since yesterday I am only interested in negative sign, so I have nipped there. Okay, and continue with my argument. Okay. Today I am going to use it, so I am adding that part. Okay. So just reverse that thing. Change in I over change in money demand equal minus 1 over H. Okay. So slope of money demand is minus 1 over H. Okay. Now Nothing will be more clear what we have done yesterday. Okay, Keynesian case, classical case. Okay, on this thing. So when h equals 0, okay, look at this term. N equal ky, h is 0. The money demand is a function of income, some proportion of income, right? Money demand is just some proportion of income. Okay, so you are demanding money only for transaction purpose, right? Money demanded is only for transaction purpose. This is clear to everyone? I just write this equation here. When h equal to 0, this term will be vanished. Okay. H is my responsiveness in money demand due to change in rate of interest. Okay. Okay. So this term, okay, I have discussed already. Okay. Money demanded for transaction purpose depend only on income, not on rate of interest. Speculative demand for money depend only on rate of interest. Okay. S represents the responsiveness in money demand for speculative purpose due to change in rate of interest. Okay. When h equals 0, we are in the classical range. Okay. So when I put 1 over 0, what is the slope of your money demand schedule or curve? Infinity? Yes or no? 1 over 0 is what? Yeah. So, or you can say it is independent of rate of interest or interest rate inelastic. Okay. Or it does not depend on rate of interest. So, in the classical case, money is demanded only for transaction purpose. Okay. Money is demanded only for transaction purpose. The higher the output level, higher will be the demand for money for transaction purpose. Okay. So, here your money demand curve will be vertical. Okay. I write money demand. Okay. So, this is the first case you have. I will be driving NM curve based on that I have given yesterday. No need to worry. Okay. H equal infinity. I am directly putting infinity. Okay. This is not the proper way, but just take it. Okay. When h equal infinity, what will be your slope? 0. Right. This is your home. This is college. You are moving. There is no slope. Okay. So your NM curve or not NM curve, money demand curve will be horizontal. Okay. Now I am adding one more thing. Okay, because it is a requirement given the way syllabus is designed. Okay, liquidity trap. Okay. So what happens is that when rate of interest is very low. Okay, I am repeating again. When rate of interest is very low, say 1%, 0.5%, okay, 2%, okay. So when there is an increase in money supply, okay, people will want to keep all the money with themselves for speculative purpose. Take two cases. This is negativeness of money demand, and this is your horizontal money demand curve. So when money supply increases, here rate of interest is declining. Okay. So here what happens is that when rate of interest decline, people want some money with themselves. Okay. What happens here is that this is money supply M by P. When money supply increases, okay. So rate of interest is not going to change. Here rate of interest is going to decrease. Okay. Here rate of interest is not going to change. When money supply increases, rate of interest is not going to change. And this situation Keynes has said that it is a liquidity trap. Okay. So in the liquidity trap, okay, it happened at a very low rate of interest. Okay. If there is an increase in money supply, okay, rate of interest will not fall further. Okay. Because whatever be the increase in money supply, okay, people will keep that money with themselves as a store of value. Okay. They will not use that money for speculative purpose. Because rate of interest is very low, they expect the rate of interest to go up in the future. Okay. So they will keep that money with themselves. Okay. This is the situation that you have here. In this case, we are having in the Keynesian range. Okay. And third, I talk about that's H lie between infinity and 0. Okay, so your money demand schedule is negatively slow. Okay. This I am talking about money demand. Okay, I am not driving NM curve yet. Okay, so you have 3 cases of money demand. This make it vertical. Okay, no between panel. Yes. Now I am going to drive the NM curve based on this thing. So in the Keynesian case, this that I have drawn, okay, is this part. Okay. So in the liquidity trap, okay, what happens is that when there is an increase in money supply, there will be no further decline in your rate of interest. Okay. And this is a genuine case where responsiveness in money demand due to change in rate of interest, okay, lies between 0 and infinity. Okay. So when rate of interest reduces, money demand increases. Okay. Now, third case. Money demand and money supply interaction. Okay. So I have 3 cases. So based on that, I am going to drive the NM curve that I have driven yesterday also. Okay. These are one technical part of the notes. Okay. So first I am driving for first case. You can say case 1 when h equal to 0. Okay, and your slope of money demand is infinity. Okay, or vertical you can say. So here you have rate of interest, here you have money demand. This is your money demand. This is real money demand. You know that we have done that. Okay. Here also I am drawing one graph, rate of interest, and here I am drawing output. Okay. So remember this equation. Okay. So my money demand will be ky. So when income level is 1, y1, my money demand will be n1. So this money demand when I am drawing, okay, the position will depend on the income level. Okay. So this is my money demand 1. Okay, based on income level y1. Okay. So whatever be my rate of interest, I will be having this money demand. Okay. In equilibrium, okay, if you remember in the classical case, okay, supply creates its own demand. Okay. So whatever be my supply money, say here M by P, okay, my money demand will automatically be this much. Okay. So on point here are my what? Equilibrium condition. Okay. So I am drawing that whatever be the rate of interest, okay, income level I have taken y1. So this will represent my NM curve, vertical NM curve. That is why in the classical case we have vertical NM curve. Okay. Remember this one, that in the classical range NM curve is vertical. Okay. And you know the slope of NM curve, I equal 1 over h ky minus m by p. So slope of NM curve will be di, let me write in simple way, change in I over change in income, because NM curve I am drawing in the IY space, okay, is k by h. Okay. So 1 by h, here also you can take this as 1 over h k. So whatever I am drawing the money demand schedule, okay, based on that you will be having, okay, same shape of your NM curve also. Okay. Now second case. When h is infinity, okay, your money demand will be horizontal. Okay. This is money supply M by P. This is rate of interest. So at this rate of interest, okay, here your money demand, money supply, rate of interest, here your output. This will be your NM curve. Okay. Because even money supply increases, okay, there will be no change in rate of interest. So NM curve will be horizontal. And this represents your liquidity trap situation. Okay. So in the liquidity trap, when there is increase in money supply, okay, what will happen? Rate of interest will not change. Okay. When rate of interest will not change, that means NM curve is horizontal. Okay. So we are stuck in a liquidity trap. On the money will be kept in the for speculative purpose with that person. Okay. For speculative purpose. Now third case, we have tried already. Let me just for our continuity put it here. So money demand curve will be negatively slow. This is money supply curve. Okay. So your NM curve will be here. We have drawn like this. Okay. So money demand is based on KY1 minus HI. So this is interest at I1, output level Y1. I combine I1, Y1 to get 1 point of NM curve. When income increases, transaction demand for money increases for the same rate of interest. Okay. That means for the same rate of interest, money demand is here, money supply is here. Money demand is greater than money supply. So you have excess demand for money or excess supply of bond. Okay. So what will happen when you have excess supply of bond? Rate of interest will increase. So rate of interest is I2 corresponding to income level Y2. Okay. So rate of interest is I2 corresponding to income level of Y2. I get second point. So NM curve is positively slope. Okay. So this we have done derivation of NM curve. Okay. In the examination they will do, you just have to do this way, simple way. Okay. Okay. After this, now we are going to do about crowding out. Okay. These are on the background notes. Okay. This, even if you are able to understand 30-40%, is sufficient. No need to worry. Okay. Now we are coming to crowding out. Understand this argument. Okay. If you understand this argument, then crowding out will be very simple. Okay. So we know y equal to AD, C plus I plus G. Okay. And when government expenditure increases, income increases by multiplier times 1 minus C plus CT, change in government expenditure, and this will give me the shift in my IS curve. Okay. Now, when my government expenditure increases, okay, what happens is that income increases. Okay. When your income increases, let me write it better. When your income increases, what happens is that transaction demand for money increases. Okay. My transaction demand for money increases. So when my transaction demand for money increases, what happened? We have seen that rate of interest increases. How? Look at this. Here I am writing rate of interest. Okay. Here I am writing money demand and money supply. So this is your money supply, real money supply. Okay, given by the central government or monetary authority, and we take this exogenously given. Okay. This is your money demand curve based on income level Y1, KY1 minus HI. Okay. So what I am saying that your income increases, say Y1 to Y2. So your money demand schedule will shift rightward. For the given rate of interest, money demand schedule will shift rightward. Okay. KY2 minus HI, because income has increases, transaction demand for money increases. So my money demand schedule for the given rate of interest shift rightward. Okay. So at this point, for the given rate of interest, money demand is greater than money supply. Okay. So when money demand is greater than money supply, okay, what will happen? Rate of interest has to increase because I have excess supply of bond. Okay. That means rate of interest will increase. Then I will achieve equilibrium in the money market. Okay. So rate of interest increases from I1 to I2. Okay. Now look at it. So you know this process we have done in the first part. Okay. Y equal to C plus I plus G. Okay. So when government expenditure increases, first thing, income also increases. Second thing. Okay. So when income increases, what is happening here is that rate of interest is increasing. Okay. Income increases, transaction demand for money increases. Because the transaction demand of money increases, rate of interest increases. Now what is my investment? I equal I bar minus BI. Okay. So when rate of interest increases, third point, okay, investment will decline. Okay. Now look at here. When government expenditure increases and investment decline, okay, so one is increasing, one is decreasing. Whether output will increase or not, okay, will determine whether I have full crowding out, partial crowding out, or no crowding out. Okay, three possibility I will be having based on this analysis. Okay, take the first case. Okay, let me rub this part. First case, no change in rate of interest. Okay, I am giving you one possibility. Okay, but I am going to discuss the Keynesian possibility later on. Okay, for simplicity purpose, when there is no change in rate of interest, what is going to happen? Okay? So when there is no change in rate of interest, okay, investment will not fall. Okay, take the case. I'm showing you how rate of interest will not change. No need to worry. Okay, this I am going to show. So just remember, when rate of interest is not going to change, your investment will remain the same. Okay. So when government expenditure increases, okay, output will increase by multiplier time change in government expenditure. You know that shift in IS is, this is shift in IS will be multiplier time change in government expenditure. This we have done just. Okay. Now how there will be no change in rate of interest? Okay. Simple possibility is that when your money demand increases, okay, if money supply increases in the same proportion, okay, then I will be having equilibrium here. Let me draw another graph, then it will be clear. Okay, just let me keep. Okay, I love the board already without taking photo. Okay. So let me draw this graph. If you understand this argument, then today's lecture will be very simple. Okay? So here you have money supply. Here money supply M by P 1. Okay. This is your money demand based on income level Y1. KY1 minus HI. Here you have rate of interest. Here you have money demand, money supply. Don't forget to name the graph. Okay. When you are drawing the graph, when income increases, for the same rate of interest, okay, transaction demand for money increases. Okay. Since I am drawing with respect to I, my money demand curve shift rightward. Okay. KY2, because my income increases, money demand shift rightward for the same rate of interest, I1. Okay. So if my money supply increases by same proportion, okay, what will happen? I will be having new equilibrium here, okay, in the money market, and there will be no change in rate of interest. So when money supply also increases, this is exogenously given, right? It can increase, okay. So when money supply increases, there will be no change in rate of interest, there will be no decline in investment, okay. So when government expenditure increases, okay, output will increase by multiplier time change in government expenditure, okay. So here we see that when there is no change in rate of interest, okay, increase in government expenditure is not going to reduce your private investment. So there is no crowding out, okay. So there is no crowding out in the Keynesian range, okay. In the liquidity trap, your NM curve is horizontal. This is your NM curve, okay, and this give me shift in IS curve. Suppose this is your IS curve, initial IS curve, IS1, okay. Government expenditure increases, you know that IS curve shift for the same rate of interest. Shift in IS curve will be IS1 will be multiplier times change in government expenditure, okay. So here you are writing output, here you have interest rate, okay. So this is output 1. When IS curve shift to the right, IS2, okay. So how much is the magnitude of shift? Multiplier time change in government expenditure. So income increases to Y2, okay. So there is no change in rate of interest. Okay, interest rate remains the same. So there is no impact on investment. Okay, full value multiplier realized. So there will be no crowding out. Okay. So first case I have seen that. Okay, I have shown that, not seen that. Okay, I have shown that. Okay, that when government expenditure increases, okay, if there is no change in rate of interest, okay, then investment will not decline. Okay, this is not going to happen. So your output will increase by multiplier time change in government expenditure. That means full multiplier valuation will be realized. Okay, first case. I am going to give the notes, no need to worry. Okay. Okay. This is clear to everyone? First case? Yes, no? Speak up. Okay, I need to speak up. Okay, it will be clear, don't worry. This happens, no need to worry, okay? Everything happens. I should be worried more when you people are saying yes, okay? When I'm getting no, that means things are working fine, okay? Okay. Second case, okay? So, suppose government expenditure increases by 100, okay? And your investment decreases by 100. So when this happens, then there change in output, there will be no change in output. Look at this equation. Okay. When government expenditure increases by 100, okay, and because in interest rate rises, okay, investment suppose decreases by 100, then change in output will be 0. Right? There will be no change in output. Then in this case, okay, when interest rate rises, okay, what happens is that there is a full crowding out. Okay, whatever expenditure government is doing, say 100 crore, private investment is declining by 100 crore. Okay, so in this case, okay, what we are going to see is that there will be a full crowding out. Clear? Let me write this again here. Income is what? C plus I plus Z. Okay. So I am saying that government expenditure increases by 100. Okay. Rate of interest increases. Suppose investment fallen by 100. Then how much is the change in my income? It is 0. Right? So government is making expenditure, is crowd out private investment. Okay. So there is no change in my income level. This is we have done in the classical model. Okay. Because output is at full employment. So this corresponds to my case where NM curve is vertical. This is my NM curve. Okay. This is my IS curve, IS1. Suppose government increases expenditure. This is my output. This is my rate of interest. Output is at full employment. Okay. So government increases expenditure. My IS curve shift to the right. My IS1 to IS2. So how much is the shift? Multiplier time change in government expenditure. Okay. So when government expenditure increases, okay, what is going to happen? Rate of interest is going to rise. Okay. When rate of interest is going to rise, okay, cost of capital is going to increase. My investment is going to fall. And here investment formed by equivalent amount. So there is no change in output. Okay. So government investment or government expenditure crowd out completely private investment. So here I have full crowding out. Only remember the definition of crowding out. What is crowding out? Crowding out refers to decline in private investment. Okay. Due to increase in government expenditure. Why this happen? Because increase in government expenditure, okay, may need to rise in rate of interest. I say may, okay, because in the Keynesian range, liquidity trap, rate of interest is not rising, so we are not getting any crowding out. So there is a no crowding out. Okay, this is second case. Okay. Third case. Let me explain. Third case is that suppose government expenditure increases by 100, but my private investment found by only 50. Okay. So there we see that there is a partial crowding out. Okay. There is a partial foreign investment, not complete foreign investment. Okay. This corresponds to my position of NM curve. So this is my NM curve where H lies between infinity and 0. Okay. This is my IS curve, IS1. IS curve shift to the right. Okay. This is rate of interest. Okay. It's shift by multiplier time change in government expenditure. Okay. This is my own equilibrium. Say Y1. My new equilibrium is here. Y2. Okay. So what I see is that this much is the change in government expenditure. Okay. That means output should be changed by this much. Okay. But actually your income increases only by this much. Okay. Why? Because your investment is falling. Okay. Investment falling by how much? It should increase by this much. If government increasing its expenditure, your output must increase from Y1 to Y2. Okay. But it increases to Y2. Okay. New equilibrium is at Y2. That means your private investment is found by this much amount. Okay. So here you have a partial crowding out where increase in government expenditure reduces your private investment. Okay. By particular amount, not equivalent amount, particular amount. So full value of multiplier is not realized. Output should expand by this much. Okay. Since there is a fall in private investment, so we have new equilibrium not at Y3 but at Y2. At Y2 I have a higher rate of interest also. Okay. So I2. So this is a case correspond to my partial crowding out. Okay. So this is what we are going to do today. Okay. So let's start. Okay. So increase in government expenditure, okay, in the Keynesian case is not going to change your output level. Okay. Now let's look at the monetary policy. Okay. So when there is an increase in money supply, real money supply, okay, what will happen is that your NM curve will shift rightward. Why? If you remember the argument, each NM curve is based on a given real money supply. Okay. Say M by P1. Okay. So when real money supply increases, okay, what will happen? Rate of interest will decline. When rate of interest decline, your investment will increase, so output will increase. Okay. So let's look at this graph. So this is your NM curve based on a given money supply, say M by P1. Okay. And this is your IS curve. So fiscal policy is not effective. I am repeating again. In the Keynesian case, fiscal policy is not effective in increasing your output level. Okay. Now I am looking at monetary policy. So when there is an increase in real money supply, okay, each NM curve is based on a particular money supply, real money supply. When money supply increases, okay, when real money supply increases from MP1 to M by P2, okay, NM curve shift rightward. So what happens is that your rate of interest declines from I1 to I2, okay, output increases from Y1 to Y2. Okay. So when we are in the Keynesian range, okay, fiscal policy is not effective in increasing your output. It will fully crowd out your private investment. Okay. So we are having full crowding out. Okay. Here monetary policy will be effective in raising your output level. Why? Because when real money supply increases, rate of interest declining. When rate of interest declining, your investment will increase. Look at this equation, I equal to I bar minus bi. Okay. When this decline, your investment will increase. Okay. So when your investment will increase, your real demand increases, so output will increase. Okay. So in the Keynesian range, monetary policy is effective in raising your output level. Okay. So let me again discuss this part. Okay. This because I am recording it. Okay. So you people can have this in the video also. Okay. So the thing that I talk about is that increase in government expenditure. Okay, if it raises rate of interest, okay, then it will crowd out your private investment. Suppose government expenditure increases by 100. Okay, if rate of interest not changes, okay, suppose one case I talk about that money supply increases in the same proportion, okay, then there is no change in rate of interest, or we are at a situation of liquidity trap. Okay, that means rate of interest is very low, it is not going to fall further. Okay, whatever be the increase in money supply, it will be observed. Okay, that money will be observed in the form of store of value. Okay, so when there is no change in rate of interest, investment will not be affected. Okay, so full value of multiplier will be realized. Okay, so that in that case we will be having no crowding out. Okay, and we are in the Keynesian range where NM curve will be horizontal. So when IS curve will shift rightward, full multiplier value, okay, multiplier time change in government expenditure will be realized. So output will increase from Y1 to Y2. Okay, and we are having a case of no crowding out. Okay, consider second case. When government expenditure increases by 100, rate of interest increases by so much that investment fund by equivalent amount. Okay, so this case pretend to my full crowding out. Okay, so in the case of full crowding out, NM curve will be vertical. Okay, so when your IS curve shift rightward, okay, by this much amount, multiplier time change in government expenditure. Okay, what it will does, it will increase the rate of interest so much that your investment fund by increase in government expenditure. So there is no change in output. So I will be having full crowding out. Okay, you can see here. There will be no change in output. Okay. Third case is that your rate of interest increases somewhat. Okay. So investment fund by 50. Okay. So what is happening is that for the same rate of interest, when your IS schedule shift rightward, okay, your income should increase from Y1 to Y3 in order to realize the full value of multiplier. Okay, multiplier time delta G. Okay, but it is not happening. Okay, new equilibrium is at Y2, not at Y3. So this much amount Y3 Y2 distance, okay, is your crowding out of private investment. But we have some positive increase in output. Okay, so here we are having partial crowding out. Okay, so this is the case. Okay, next paragraph write down. When we are looking at very low rate of interest, when your NM curve become horizontal, okay, this pertain to your Keynesian case or liquidity trap. Okay, whatever be the increase in money supply, it will be observed in the as a liquidity balance. Okay, with the people. So when your IS curve shift rightward, okay, full value of your multiplier will be realized, and your output will increase by multiplier time change in government expenditure. Okay, and here it is easy to see that when H is say infinity, so now will be 0, then your NM curve will be horizontal. Okay, so here you see that fiscal policy is completely effective in increasing your output level. Okay, when we talk about monetary policy, okay, in the liquidity trap, we are talking about policy implication. So in the case of Keynesian range, when we are in the Keynesian range, okay, what is that? What we will see is that fiscal policy is effective. Okay, look at this case. This is money demand. Okay, this is the money supply. After this, your rate of interest is not going to change. Okay, and this is your NM curve. This is IS curve. Okay, here you have income. Here you have rate of interest. That's one minute. Okay. So when your money supply increases, rate of interest is not going to change. You have to make this proper state. Okay. Your NM curve will be vertical, so there will be no change in output. Output will remain same Y1. Okay. So in the Keynesian range, when we are in Keynesian range, monetary policy is ineffective. When money supply increases, okay, there is no change in output. Okay, on the money will be kept as speculative balance by the people. Okay, money fiscal policy is effective. Okay, we have to draw these two graphs. Write down. Curve is positively round when S lies between 0 and infinity. Okay, given the value of k, my NM curve will be positive means no. Okay, first thing, okay, IS curve shift to the right. Okay, when IS curve shift to the right, what happens is that for the given rate of interest, my income must increase by multiply time change in government expenditure. That means it must be increased from Y1 to Y3. Okay, so when government expenditure increases, income must be increasing. When income increases, transaction demand for money increases. Okay, when transaction demand for money increases, rate of interest will increase. This I have drawn with the graph. Okay, this graph, money supply given. So when income increases from Y1 to Y2, your rate of interest increases. Okay, so when rate of interest increases, okay, part of your private investment will decline. Okay, say it declined by 50 in our case. Government expenditure increases by 100. Okay, there is a Parson crowding out, so investment declined by 50. Okay, and we achieve new equilibrium where output not increases to Y3 from Y1, it increases to Y2. Okay, so full multiplier value will not realize. Okay, but there is some increase in output. Okay, from Y1 to Y2, from Y1 to Y2. Okay, so this case pretend to your Parson crowding out. Okay, so in the box, so in case of Parson crowding out, okay, h value lies between 0 and infinity. Okay, so given the value of k when h is positive, so your NM curve will be positiveness now. Okay, so when my IS curve shift, how much will be the shift in IS curve? Multiply time change in government expenditure. So for the given rate of interest, my output should be increased from Y1 to Y3. Okay, but since my income has increased, okay, why? Because government expenditure has increased. So my IS curve shift rightward. So income has increased. So transaction demand for money has increased. Given the money supply, rate of interest will increase. Okay, so when rate of interest increase, part of the private investment will reduce. Okay, say it reduced by 50. Okay, so my income not increases to Y3, my income increases to Y2. Okay, so this represent, this downfall represent my decline in private investment. Okay, the fact that output had increased somewhat, okay, not, we don't realize the full value of multiplier, but it increased somewhat. Okay, means that we are having Parson crowding out. Okay, first thing about policy implication. So when fiscal policy is taken, output can be increased. Okay, so fiscal policy is effective. In the case of Parson crowding out, when IS curve shift rightward, fiscal policy is effective. Okay, next, what about monetary policy? Let's look at that part. So you have to draw this part, okay, in the graph. So this is your NM curve, this is your IS curve. Okay, so when real money supply increases, when monetary policy is second, NM curve will shift rightward. So this is your interest rate I1, this is output Y1. So when interest rate, when NM curve shift rightward, because each NM curve is based on a given money supply, say M by P1. Okay, so real money supply increases to M by P2, and here I am only increasing nominal money supply. I am not talking about price level. Okay, keep this thing in mind. Okay, so when my NM curve shift rightward, rate of interest decline. When rate of interest decline, more investment will be done, so output will increase further. Okay, so my monetary policy is also effective. Okay, but how much my monetary policy is effective depend on the slope of my IS curve. Okay, how? Let's look at that. So I am drawing only two possibilities. Okay, I can draw four possibilities, but for our purpose, 2% is okay. So one IS curve I am drawing steeper, and one I am drawing flatter. Okay. I hope almost we have done almost close to 100 hours of class. You will understand what technique I am using. Okay. In undergraduate, you people will be having same technique. Okay. This is your NM curve. I have to draw the same thing. Okay. Not much difference. Let me take this thing. NM curve I have to draw the same. Okay. Then NM curve sheet. So in case of Stipa IS curve, here you have rate of interest, here you have output, this is IS curve, this is NM1, you can say NM2 when real money supply increases, okay. This is NM1, when your IS curve is flatter, this is NM2, okay. And here you have output, here you have income. This is output, okay. So this is Y1, Y2, you can say Y1 hat, Y2 hat, okay. So how much my monetary policy is effective depend on the slope of IS curve. When my IS curve is flatter, monetary policy will be more effective, okay. And the more my IS curve is steeper, my monetary policy will be less effective. If it is vertical, okay, look at this case. If my IS curve will be vertical, whatever monetary, just 1 minute. When my IS curve will be vertical, okay, I'm just making more vertical, okay. Look at my NM curve, okay. This is NM1, when money supply increases to NM2, what is happening? There is no change in output. Output remains the same, okay. So how much my monetary policy is effective depend on the slope of my IS curve. If my IS curve is flatter, monetary policy will be more effective, okay. And when my IS curve is steeper, monetary policy will be less effective, okay. So when we have a case of partial crowding out, okay, in this case both fiscal policy and monetary policy are effective, okay. Monetary policy will be more effective when my IS curve is flatter, okay. Write down. Just 1 minute. The effectiveness of monetary policy will depend on the slope of IS curve. When IS curve is steeper, monetary policy is net effective, and when IS curve is flatter, monetary policy will be more effective. Monetary policy will be more effective. Okay. Now, let's make things more easier for us. Okay. By doing 3 different kind of graph and a headache. Okay. Let's do the simple thing. Okay. I love this thing. Okay. So I talk that when NM curve is positively slope, then that is intermediate case, okay. And the reason being, let's do that part, okay. So we are doing crowding out, okay. I always say, always write NM equation, okay. I equal 1 over h k y minus m by p. You have to remember this, okay, by heart. Whatever you do, you have to remember it, okay. And slope is changing interest rate due to change in income, because I am drawing in I by space, okay. So this is my slope. So this will be k by h, okay. Okay. So if you understand this graph, again I am saying, okay, everything is clear, okay. So whatever way you want to understand, you can understand. So here you have rate of interest, here you have output level, okay. So consider this case when your NM curve is horizontal, okay. When my NM curve will be horizontal, this is the slope of NM curve, okay. When my slope is 0, okay. When will be my slope will be 0? When h is infinity, right? Yes or no? Okay. Now second case, NM curve is positively sloped, intermediate case. When H value lies between infinity and 0. Okay. When H lies between infinity and 0, my slope will be positive. So NM curve will be positive. Okay. Then this case, vertical. This is my NM curve. When H, okay, when H is 0, my slope will be infinity. Okay. So this case, the first case that I have is Keynesian case. This is my intermediate case, and this is my Keynesian case. Okay. Now I want to know about fiscal policy. So this is my IS curve, initial IS curve. Okay. If it shift in the Keynesian range, okay, say let me use other pen. Okay. So this is IS. This is my initial IS curve. Okay. So if my IS curve shift, okay, to IS2, and if it is in the Keynesian range, my output will increase by multiplier and change in government expenditure. The full value of multiplier will be realized. Fiscal policy will be effective. Okay. Here, if my IS shift here, okay, then my output will increase partially. Okay. Take two. I am drawing two graph here again. Okay. So let me use same red and blue pen. Okay. This is IS1. Okay. This is my output. I will say Y1. Okay. So my IS curve shift from IS1 to IS2. Okay. So I have to maintain same rate of interest. At the same rate of interest, let me rub this part. Okay. Let me take photo first. For the same rate of interest, shift in IS will be multiplier time change in government expenditure, right? My output should increase to Y3, okay? But since rate of interest has increased to here, you can see from here, okay? So my output at equilibrium increased to Y2. So there will be partial crowding out, okay? This is case 2, where you have a partial crowding out. Partial crowding out. Here you have no crowding out. No crowding out. Okay. Now look at this range. I just have this part of it. Here, this is your initial IS curve. Okay. When IS curve, let me use blue pen. When government expenditure increases, IS curve shift rightward from IS1 to IS2. So how much is that shift? Same multiplier time change in government expenditure, but rate of interest will increase. So when government expenditure increases by 100, okay, it increases by 100. Private investment decreases by 100, so change in income will be 0. So there will be no change in output. Output will remain same. Okay, you can see this one. Output will remain same. Okay. Say Y3. Y3 is your full employment output. You can check it. Okay. So I am having full crowding out. Okay. So in the same graph, you can draw one thing. And when you have put up on this detail, it will be easier to remember. Here H is infinity. In the intermediate case, H lies between infinity and 0. Here H will be 0. Okay. All the possibility is depicted in this graph. Now policy implication. In case of policy implication, here fiscal policy will be effective in the Keynesian case. Okay. When NM curve is horizontal, but monetary policy will not be effective because when money supply will increase, rate of interest is not going to change. Okay. Then there will be no change in output. Now come to the intermediate case. Fiscal policy is effective. Okay. Monetary policy will be effective depending on the slope of your IS curve. If IS curve is flatter, then monetary policy will be effective, more effective. Okay. Now in the case where NM curve is vertical, or you can say Keynesian case, okay. So shift in IS curve or increase in government expenditure will be not effective. The policy implication is that when NM curve will shift rightward, okay, rate of interest will decline, okay. So investment will increase, output will increase, okay. That means here monetary policy will be effective, okay. Only this part of argument you have to remember. On the small detail is provided by this equation. Okay. So when you are making your mind map, you are making your notes. When I am saying write on the notes in 15 pages, you have to remember the argument like this. Okay. Writing part I am telling you is not important. Important is how you form the argument. Okay. Okay. Just 1 minute.